The Pilot was launched in North America in 2002 as a replacement for the aging Honda Passport. What you're looking at is a 2008 EXL, and it's a mid-sized 8-seater crossover SUV with a VTEC V6 and all-wheel drive. The Pilot was designed in 1999 by Ricky Su to bring Honda back into the large SUV market. The cheerful-looking filing cabinet that resulted boasts clean lines, solid proportions, and just the right amount of character. As the years wore on, however, the Pilot came to terms with reality and lost its happy face in 2006. The second-gen models had a goofy grin, the third was far sleeker and more minivan-like, and the newest iteration went back to its chunky roots. It might not be distinct, but this car looks confident and has aged pretty well. The nice thing about this generation of Pilot is that there's not too many places in which it would look out of place. While it might look forgettable at a first glance, the Pilot is a really well thought out piece of design that only gets better the longer you look at it. That boxy shape gives way to a vast interior with an absurd amount of cargo and passenger space. With its seats folded down, the Pilot is stupid roomy. You and a few others could comfortably lay down back here. It can even almost fit a sheet of 8x4, which is pretty impressive, honestly. The second row is roomy and even gets its own climate control, but you could option for a built-in DVD player as well. The third row might be tight, but it's still a comfy place to be for short trips.
I can see kids in the back. Look at that.
Yeah.
Shut the hell up!
The dashboard is logical above all else. The gauges are clear, everything's pretty easy to reach, and the layout is easy to understand. Plastic quality is pretty good too, and even though this car has seen almost 16 years of use, there's very little in the way of rattles or wear on the interior. The stock stereo in this thing is pretty stout. It's not exceptionally well tuned, but it packs a punch and has a really meaty subwoofer.
Yeah, I can see why you turned that down.
Make sure to check if your Pilot has an aux port, because this 6-disc CD changer is used for most trim levels, and despite having an aux button, this car has no aux. Owing to its boxy shape, there are almost no blind spots, and combined with a high driving position, the Pilot's visibility makes it great for new drivers. Despite being a larger SUV, the Pilot has a pretty solid ride. Steering feel is alright, but it can feel a little too light at higher speeds. It feels more like a minivan than its looks might suggest.
Oh, goddamn.
The overall ride is floaty and composed, and the Pilot handles bumps and easy turns pretty well. If you chuck it into hard corners, don't be surprised when the tires wail and it starts rolling. It's also pretty quiet. Wind noise is not as bad as you would expect, road noise is alright, and the engine is just the right volume for cruising. Speaking of that engine, it's a naturally aspirated 3.5-liter V6 from the Honda J family. This engine, the J35A9, was used in the all-wheel drive models from 2006 to 2008. It produces a stout 244 horsepower and 240 pounds-feet of torque, sent to all four wheels as needed through a 5-speed automatic transmission. If you slam the gas from a stop, it's nothing special until you reach about 25 miles an hour, then the VTEC pops on and it musters up a decent amount of grunt.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
0 to 60 is just a smidge over 8 seconds, which is pretty solid for a car of this age and size. Pilot has a decently dedicated following, and there's a fair amount of custom parts available, especially for the 2003 to 2005 models. I've even seen a handful of people online who fit superchargers to these things with some success. To sum everything up, the Pilot is a spacious, smooth, quiet, reliable, decently quick, and practical car that'll do pretty much anything you ask of it, from carrying furniture and road tripping across the country to taking on light trails and navigating through tight city streets. If you don't mind the large form factor and iffy gas mileage, there's really no reason you shouldn't at least consider grabbing one of these boxes to go.
That's pretty good.
All right,
Pretty much perfect.
you heard it here, folks.